I'm going to extend grace. His name is Jumaane Williams. Okay. This is who Eric Adams' possible replacement is. His name is Jumaane Williams. Okay. So I don't know who he is. I'm not familiar with him. I'm just now starting to hear his name today for the first time. And so we're going to give him an opportunity to speak. And I will say that if you guys want me to, I can reach out to him to see if he's interested in coming on the Millionaire Morning Show and helping us to understand exactly what he stands for. But until then, let's see who this guy is. Jumaane Williams could be the replacement for Eric Adams in New York. Let's get it.
Federal prosecutors indicted Mayor Eric Adams on 5 criminal charges yesterday, including conspiracy, wire fraud, and illegal campaign contributions by foreign nationals.
So Mayor Adams has denied the charges, and while many lawmakers are calling on him to resign, the mayor says he intends to stay and serve his full term in office. If he steps down or is removed from office, which only Governor Kathy Hochul can do, New York City public advocate Jumaane Williams will become the acting mayor. Jumaane Williams is the public advocate, as you know.
I spoke his name wrong. I thought it was Jumaane. It's Jumaane. The extra A, it makes it I and E. Jumaane Williams. Okay. It's Jumaane. Jumaane. Jumaane Williams is his name. Let's see what he's about. Some people are saying that he's a socialist. Let's see what he's about before we jump to conclusions.
He's joining us this morning. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York.
Good to be here, thanks.
So should the mayor stay or should he go?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a really sad time for the people of the city of New York.
No, he got them Wakanda beads on. Got them Wakanda beads. You know, y'all didn't see Wakanda, Black Panther, where Yuri or Jury or whatever her name was, and she had the Wakanda beads or whatever. He got the Wakanda beads on. I can't do it. Got the earring on in his ear. Yeah. I'm not so sure about this. New York has the most millionaires and billionaires. Y'all telling me that y'all can't find. Let's get into it.
It's a kind of,
because I got to be careful with my speech. I got to reach out first to see if he's willing to talk. But just on optics, I got to be honest. On optics alone, it's looking a little weird.
chaotic time.
Is that a B Love? Is that a sassy badge? Is that a sassy badge, y'all?
So I'm really sad that we have to be dealing with this. I think the federal government has to prove their case, and I'm a big proponent of just criminal legal system. So innocence before guilt is tantamount. I think that's different, but then the question of,
is he nervous?
With all this happening, can you govern effectively? Can you help restore the trust that's being lost? That's a different question. So my hope is that the mayor will ask himself those questions, and if he feels he can, he should really put out a plan of how he thinks that can go forward. The time to put out that plan, I think, is the window's starting to close, and folks are just really concerned. And so my hope is that he really asks those questions to himself.
Okay, so you're this close to being mayor of New York City. You've always wanted that.
I've never said that. You have. But I actually ran for the job of public advocate.
Right.
And I'm very excited about that job. Now, being the public advocate.
What is the job of public advocate? That's a job in New York? Let me look this up. I got to figure out what a public advocate is. The Office of Public Advocate offers several full-time, part-time. They got a public advocate job. Really? How much does public? Oh, he trying to get a raise. Oh, so as of September 24th, 2024, let me throw this on the screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about here. I don't want y'all to be in the dark. As of September 15, 2024, the average annual pay for a public, oh, that's a public health advocate. Let me go up real quick. Let me see if I can find something else. Salaries at the Office of Public Advocate in New York vary by position, but some examples include Brooklyn Borough Advocate full-time position of 55,000. I don't see anything. But I'm guessing that it's somewhere in the $50,000 to $60,000 range. Oh, wait a minute. The average New York City public advocate salary ranges from approximately 20,000 per year for a coordinator to 160,000. I'm gonna have to do some I'm gonna have to do some research. I wonder how much he makes. I'm sure it's got to be public. It's got to be public because oh, it's right here. Oh, wait! Look at how we start digging and look where we end up. Jumaane Williams, 2023, was employed at public as a public advocate and had an annual salary of $185,000 a year, according to public records. This salary was 240% higher than the average and 347% higher than the median salary in a public advocate. His reported pay was $184,000 according to public records. Working as a public advocate from 2019 through 2023. That's why they advocate. That's why they ran on that job. All right. So there you go. Annual wage of basically $185,000 a year. There you go. Public advocate. I'm not sure what they do. I'm not sure what a public advocate is. Let me see. 185. From 185 to 260. Okay. So that's how much the mayor makes. $260,000 a year. All right. $260,000 a year for the NYC mayor. So that's a big bump. That's a big bump. All right, let's learn more about him and see if he's worthy.
That this is a possibility, and so you always have to make sure you're prepared for that. But that's not why you take the job.
But you've never wanted to be mayor of New York City?
I've ran for every job that I've actually wanted to run for. And what I would say was this. I knew this was a possibility, excuse me, when I got elected. It's not something you want to have to happen because that means there's been some chaotic times in New York City. But you have to prepare yourself, which we are.
Are you?
The most important thing
is
for New Yorkers to know that the Constitution for New York allows for continuity of government. And so I want to make sure that New Yorkers know that trash is going to be picked up, 301 is going to be answered, 911 is going to be answered. And that's, I think, what everyone should be concerned about. And
so his job is just to let people know that 911, if you call 911, it's going to be answered. So he's basically like a communications director.
Tens of thousands of public sector workers who are making sure that happens today, and I know they're going to make sure that happens tomorrow as well.
You've been a vocal critic of the mayor for a long time, yet you have not called, and even this morning, for his resignation. Give us some insight into your thinking. Why not?
I think the position you have, first, you should have a little bit more responsibility of how you communicate. I'm also in the second, I'm in first in the line of succession. I think that's a heavy weight as well. And as I said before, you know, doesn't matter who is being accused of something, the presumption of innocence is really tantamount to what we think of in our criminal legal system, regardless of who it is. But I do also want to say that the charges are pretty egregious, and they're a little more expansive than I even.
So, all right, so this is my interpretation of it. He don't want to seem thirsty, all right? He don't want to seem like, oh man, I'm gunning for his job. I want him to fail, because he don't want to seem opportunistic. That's my interpretation of what he's basically saying. But he sees what's happening. He don't have to push him off the ledge. He already standing right there. Kamala Harris and Biden is doing it for him. And so if he can then step into that role, he don't have to seem thirsty as a result of it, because then it's going to seem like he's wishing for the downfall of another man, which actually flies in the face of what being a public advocate basically is, according to what I would think that the title would mean.
Thought they would. And even with that, he has a right to defend himself. And so the federal government, I believe, has to prove their case. And that's separate from what I believe the mayor should be doing right now, which is saying, I have a plan and this is how I believe I can continue under the weight of all this. I don't think that's happening. And deflecting and trying to wave it away is not that plan. And so my hope is that, from my vantage point, it's a very difficult thing to show that you can still do. But if you can, you need to begin saying that and showing that. And that's not what's happening right now, and I'm concerned about that.
What have you seen in City Hall while all these charges have been swirling, not only around the mayor, but we've seen so many other people in the administration? You talk about, can you be effective going forward? Has that affected how city government works the last couple of weeks?
There's a lot of concern, particularly the higher up you go, because there's a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos going on. And that's why I always shout out our public sector workers, because the trash was picked up. And the 301 and 911 calls are being answered. And so we want a bigger shout out to them. I think things are on autopilot, and that's how dedicated our workers are. But at some point, you have to have a pilot that can actually do the job. And that's why I focus on what is the plan to make sure that can happen. And if there is one, present it to the people of the city of New York. And if there isn't one, you need to ask and answer some very tough questions and really make decisions that are best for the people.
You're not saying nothing.
So you talked about the mayor's charges that he's facing right now. As a public official, I have to ask you, have you ever gotten an upgrade on an airline or on a hotel because you're a public
He's not
official?
going to say yes.
Well, thankfully, most people know I'm afraid of flying, so most of my travel is on the train. But I assume that the question would be the same for that. And the answer is just no. And there are so many expansive things in that indictment. It's a painful read.
Well, let me ask you this then. Have you ever taken money from a constituent who's called you and asked for a favor afterwards?
Have I taken money from constituents?
Yeah, of course. You get donations for your campaigns, right?
To my knowledge, I've never taken money from a constituent who has asked me for a favor. Those are two separate things and two separate conversations. I just want to be clear.
Okay, so explain that to me, because
so if someone talking about campaigning and campaign issues and someone talking about government are two separate conversations with two separate sets of people, and you have to make sure that those things happen separately.
I know, but politicians get donations, right? And those people who donate sometimes call in a favor.
Well, one, I like to prefer myself as an elected official, but two, you cannot receive money and then say you're going to do something with someone. Like the direct connection there is a problem. I'm also not going to try to adjudicate the case of what we read about. That's the federal government's job. My job is to make sure that folks know that there's a continuity of government and that all the services they have today are going to continue, hopefully get better.
Hey, quick question for you. Who's paying for his defense? I mean, he's the mayor of New York being charged with something, and then going back to de Blasio, the city wound up paying like $2 million to help defend him.
It's an important question. Again, it was expansive. It went back even further than I thought they were even looking at. It's a really good question. If things were done.
Just say you don't know, dog. Stop saying it's a really good question. It's a really good question. It's a really good question. You don't know. Just say, I don't know, bro.
While you're in public service, those are important questions, depending what they were and when you did it. So it's an important question that people have a right to ask those questions.
Do we know the answer?
I don't know the full answer. My presumption.
Politician speak is so annoying, bro. It's so annoying. You know what? That's a really good question. It's something that people probably want to know. And, I think that that's something that eventually needs to be answered. The fuck? Do you know or don't you know? Because we can skip past all of the bloviating, like Stephen A. Smith likes to say, and just answer my question. Hey, fam, do you know who paying for this? No, I don't know what's going on. You probably got to ask Eric Adams that. That would have been an appropriate question. An appropriate answer. Hey, do you know who paying for Eric Adams' defense? Because I know that, previous politicians, the city had to spend $2 million in order to do so. Nah, I'm not even sure, bro. Be honest with you, because, that's something that Eric Adams got to figure out. I don't know if the city is on the hook for that or not. So I can't answer that question. It would have been so easy just to say it like that. You know what? That's a really good question. That's something that the people want to know. And just all this shucking and jiving, this moving and shaking and all of this stuff, that bothers me. Just answer my question, fam.
Assumption right now will be at least part of it or a lot of it might be taxpayer money, but I don't think we know for sure. And again, that's, I think, some of the questions that need to be asked, particularly around whether the mayor has the ability to govern. That has nothing to do with innocence or guilt. It has to do.
What the? New York, New York, New York, New York, New York. New York, New York. He went to the school of Kamala Harris's question dodging. Kamala Harris question dodging. The school of word salad is strong. The school of word salad is strong with this one. The school of word salad is strong. The force is strong with this one.
With the weight of the moment that we're in right now.
So are you ready?
Am I ready?
Yeah.
I have always been prepared to do the job I applied for, and being public.
The school of word salad is strong with this one. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready if I got to step in. You know, that's what the position calls for. Hopefully, I don't have to because I love what I do. I love being a public advocate right now, and I didn't think about running for mayor, but I'm ready if I need to because the public need me. It's a very simple answer. Yeah, I'm ready. Hopefully I don't have to because I got some things and some loose ends that I want to tie up as far as some projects that I'm working on or what I already got on my table. But I'm definitely ready. Absolutely, I'm always ready. And I don't know why that's such a hard answer to question. Like, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Have always been prepared to do the job I applied for, and being public advocate means you have to be ready in case something happens. It's never happened, so we're in our uncharted territory.
Okay, all right. All of this stuttering and stuff, we're gonna go ahead and go ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jumaane Williams, next in line if anything happens to Eric Adams to take over New York City. All right. Let me give him a round of applause. I'll reach out to him. I don't know how they're gonna respond to it, but I'll reach out to him to see if he want to come on the show.